At this point, who hasn't heard of AI? It's woven into news stories far and wide these days. Some people are afraid of it, some are excited by it. Most understand that it needs to be handled with care. Since the unveiling of ChatGPT, the world has been awakened to the possibilities of the computer brain, that it can potentially think for itself. The sci-fi movies are coming true? Well, sort of. Perhaps we can just say, the future is here. But how does this affect the web design world? What do we do with it? Should we use it, or would that be unethical? And how much can it really do? I mean, can it really take over our jobs by doing its own designing, coding, and writing? Yeah, a lot of questions surround this topic for sure, and these are what I addressed today with my guest, Matt Gilliam. Matt is an innovative and creative freelance graphic and web designer, and he's been using AI in his web design business since 2021. He has tried and tested several AI tools in a myriad of ways for page layout, graphic design, and writing copy. Listen in to find out what he's learned along the way and what he has found to be the best uses for AI at this time. My name is Kathy Servatka, and this is Web Pro Savvy, a podcast for freelance web designers and developers who are always on the lookout for ways to grow their business. You'll hear interviews with experienced freelance web professionals about their business operations, the services they offer, and the types of clients they work with. They openly share their stories and pull back the curtain on how they achieve success so that you can boost your own business. If you're looking for that freelance inspo you need, subscribe to this podcast. Then share it with someone else, because who doesn't need inspiration? Welcome to the Web Pro Savvy Podcast. This is your host, Kathy Servatka. S as in Sam, I-R, V as in Victor, A-T-K-A. Okay, I'm here with Matt Gilliam. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Really good. I'm so glad that you're here with us. I've been looking forward to doing this AI talk. This is the hot topic, right? It's all anyone's talking about. Put on the news, it's AI. Even in national news, it's like, oh, AI always works its way in there. So it is a hot topic to talk about. And I'm excited to hear about how you use it and what you think of it.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead first and just hear about what you do. You run your own business, talk about your business and maybe how you got there.
Okay. So I started my business Optic Cell Media back in 2016 after running an IT consulting company with a good friend of mine for several years. I also have a degree in graphic design, so that's what I major in. I've worked in different tech and graphic design roles. But now I work as a freelance graphic designer with focus on WordPress web design and online marketing. Also enjoy helping local business owners increase their online visibility with amazing websites, content creation, SEO consulting, AdWords management, photography, and other services.
Wow. Okay. Photography too. We have that in common as well. I was a photography major.
Yeah. I recently got a drone last year. And that's already paid for itself a few times over.
Really? That's cool.
I'm excited to do more drone work this year too.
For your websites?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. That's great.
Now I may take pictures and take video from my clients, and they love it.
Oh, yeah. That is super cool. That's another thing that's super hot. It's been out for a while, right? Drones have been around for a while, but still, I think they're still intriguing to people. And, we get that bird's eye view that we don't normally get without hiring somebody to fly a plane.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper.
Exactly. All right. So what clients do you work with? Who would you say your main clients or your industries that you work with?
So my main clients are local business owners in the Chicago suburbs. Some industries include landscaping, distribution centers, and CPAs. Also work with a lot of skilled tradesmen business owners, such as electricians, carpet cleaners, power washers, HVAC companies. I provide most of my clients with web design and manage SEO marketing services. I also provide them, of course, with the photography and video editing services.
Do you copyright?
I do copyright for my clients' websites. So yes, ever since the AI tools came out, and I've been, they tested them out and figure out how to use them. And started using for like one of my clients, and he thought it was just absolutely amazing. He felt like I was just an amazing writer,
That's awesome.
He couldn't tell the difference.
Oh, that's really good. So we're going to dig more into that. Do you hire subcontractors for copywriting or SEO work ever? Does it depend on budget?
Before the AI, I used to hire subcontract. I work for copywriters. Not as much anymore. I do if I depending on the budgets or the deadline, um, in the project itself. No, I typically do the AI. Ever since AI tools came out, I started doing the AI copywriting myself. If I ever get overwhelmed or the budget allows for it, I do hire copywriters to do copyright from my web design projects. But for the most part, I've been doing it all myself. But when it comes down to like blog posts, I do have another company do blog posts for my clients. That takes a lot more in-depth research. When it comes to AI tools, it really depends on what you input. You still have to do a lot of research yourself. You can't just expect the AI tools to do all the research for you just yet. They can do quite a bit, but you still have to like find their outputs and build upon what they give you and double check your facts and make sure what they're saying is true.
So you write, when you're doing this yourself and using AI, you write all the pages, all the content for all the pages?
For the most part, yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Woo. That was something I used to do years ago when I was the one-stop shop. And, quickly got burned out on that because all those things you could do it, became their own little professions separate, and I just decided hiring was the easier way to go because, it's a marketing type of writing. So it's kind of its own forte.
Yeah. When I first started doing web design years ago, like when I was a teenager in my 20s, I used to always just struggle with copywriting so much, and I'm sure a lot of web designers are probably guilty of this, going to like Better's website, taking some copyright from them, changing some text around, like, okay, this looks different enough and it reads good. But that's just like, that's not good to do, So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to hire copywriters because I want this to be unique. I want to do it right, even though it costs more money for my clients, and I swear I probably lost some jobs because of that. But with these new AI tools, I've been actually gaining jobs because I'm able to provide a lower proposal for a website.
Right, right. So how long have you been using AI in the business?
I've been using AI since the fall of 2021, when I first came across a YouTube video looking for local SEO tips, and they mentioned an AI writer. I started using this AI writer for like a few months just to get a hang of it, to see what it could really do. And then I had a client come along, wanted me to add pages to his website. I told him I'm going to do this with AI writing. He's like, sure, go ahead, and I did. And I was able to do it quite quickly. I was amazed. Instead of taking weeks or months or however long, I was able to write so much content within just a few days. It was just amazing for me. And he absolutely loved it too as well.
Okay, so did he know you were using AI?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And your clients know you use AI? They're okay with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, AI is like, to me, it's a tool, just like anything else. I mean, you can use a hammer to nail a nail into a piece of wood, or you can use, a nail gun to put a nail in a piece of wood, or this is just like the next new tool to be able to drive that nail into the wood. It's just something new that people can use to just expand their knowledge, and because you can answer questions and get answers and learn from it. And hopefully it's right most of the time.
Well, that is the trick too. That is so cool. What a great analogy. It's just another tool for putting the nail in the wood. I like that. Just to get the result, the same result.
But you'd be able to do it more quickly and efficiently.
Well, and who doesn't like that?
Right.
I mean, like you said, it saves money for the client, saves you grief and time. It's a lot easier to do things yourself if you can, rather than hiring a contractor, a subcontractor. I mean, they're convenient and they're great, but sometimes it's just easier to just keep rolling in the project yourself. So you mostly use AI for writing, correct? Do you use it for anything else?
I'll write content for websites. I also use it for social media posts. I do a lot of Google posts for clients. In my business with my local business owners I work with, Google is a big focus of mine, not just their websites, but making sure I'm writing Google posts. Google loves seeing companies write Google posts and have the keywords in there. And of course, all different companies who make posts more often. So I offer that as a service to my clients, and I like once or twice a week post for companies, and definitely helps them to get a boost in visibility with their Google business profiles.
Okay, when you say Google Posts, here's my ignorance.
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean by Google Posts?
You know how you can post to Twitter and make a Facebook post? You can do the same thing for Google. If you have a
Okay,
Google business profile, you
I
can
did
make
not know
posts
that.
for that. Yes, lots of people do not know that. If you take advantage of that, it definitely helps.
Oh my gosh, how old is that? Has that been around?
It's been around like forever, yeah. I think even since the Google Plus days, I think it came over when they quit Google Plus. They brought it over to the profiles.
Because I was thinking Google Plus, I remember that, and then they phased that out, and then Google Posts. Good to know. Note to self. Do you ever use AI for creating web design or graphics?
Definitely. I use it more for inspiration. I use Midjourney, the AI image generator. And what I use for that is I'll have it generate web design layouts for certain industries or industry that I'm working with. And so it'll spit out like 4 different designs. I can give it like different colors and schemes, and I can kind of guide it what I want. And even though nothing looks perfect when it renders out, it gives me a lot of inspiration. AI image generators are not that great on making a final product, but what they're good at is composition and colors. And that's what I take notice with, of how they lay out all the elements on a page, how they do their borders, or how they do the graphics. Maybe I can take like a picture the same way, because pictures are never really the best, but it gives me ideas of how I could take a picture and present it and lay out all the graphics and colors on top. So it's just like going to like ThemeForest and looking at different designs. You're having an AI image generate something more towards your taste in a way, but it also adds a lot more cinematicness to it in a way. It makes it more composition wise, just looks a lot more better. So I've been trying to use that. It's pretty new. So I've been trying to figure different ways of how to use AI for arts. Another way I use it is I recently discovered is making tileable, subtle gray textures, where you have like a gray texture that's seamless and use it for a background on your web page. And you can overlay with the color or gradients, use the multiply CSS size. So it just mixes in with their color and it looks fantastic. It can control the opacity, control the strength of it. And so it's one way I've figured out.
That is so cool. If nothing else, I'm coming away with that one. I think that is so cool. Because so many times I need backgrounds, and some of my clients, they just don't you don't have the ideas right away. And I just kind of struggle and I look for things, on the photo websites. But to just come up with backgrounds is so cool. And to have a library, like create a bunch and have them ready for use. And then, like you said, throwing an overlay on them so that you can use them over and over again, just different colors. Yeah.
It works pretty well.
That is super cool.
Yeah, it's not good at making like full realistic stuff, like perfect just yet, but it's really good at making abstract arts. So you can think of different ways of how you can use abstract arts within your web design. And a lot of like background cell design textures are very abstract. So it actually ends up working. And there might be some other designs some other people might figure out, like how they can make with the AI image generator to use for their websites. It'd be interesting to find out what other people are using.
So if you wanted an accurate image of a dog, it's not going to do a super great job.
Right. Yeah. There's probably, it probably like be missing a limb or have like extra digits or something, extra paws or something will look off with it, or the ear won't be correct, or the tail won't be correct. Like there's something will be off, I would imagine the next year or two, they're going to be solving those problems. We might actually
Yeah.
end up using more AI image generators for content in our web design.
Wow. That's really cool. Yeah. Now my wheels are turning. Um, so to use these services, a lot of them have maybe a free option, but you're paying premium for these so you can have them for work?
Yeah, so I currently use Jasper for my AI content writing. It's $59 a month. And that gives you what they call a boss mode, which is essentially just their document writer. It's very powerful. They also have their own chatbot. So it's like ChatGPT, but with a lot more tools. And they also have templates that you can use. I really like the document writer because I can go into the chatbot, generate like headlines, bring them into the document. Then I can just have Jasper start writing content for each headline. It's pretty neat.
Really? That was going to be my next question. How do you, just generally, I don't need specifics, but how do you prompt Jasper to create a page of stuff, a page of content? You just put the headings in?
Yeah, so like you can just start with like, give me the top 10 most popular headings for HVAC contractor website homepage. And you can get like a whole entire list. And if you don't like that, you can tell like, give me 10 more, 20 more, and it'll keep generating. You can take something that you like and actually also in a lot of cases, I'll tell it to shorten it. I'm like, okay, shorten it. Because a lot of times it'll make it really long. So I'll tell it to shorten it because we want things to be short on a web page. Because 80% of people only read headlines. So that's the thing I try to focus on with my web designs, headlines. So I want to make sure it's catchy. AI does use active voice to get people's attention. So that's right, like on by default. So in Jasper, you can also choose your tone of voice. So you can choose it to be funny, or you can choose it to be informative or creative, knowledgeable.
So you say to it, write this content in the style of, I don't know, funny comedy, or how do you tell it?
Yeah, if you want it to be far humorous, you can rewrite this content using humor. They also have like content improver, so you can actually copy content for other websites, put it in there, it'll rewrite and improve upon it.
Wow.
And they can use that content. And it's also unique too. It's plagiarism free.
Okay.
Because I use another software, another platform called Writer, which is also AI Writer, but they have a free plagiarism checker. So you can actually paste all your content to Writer and look for plagiarism, and it'll come back clean. It's amazing. If it does come back as any hits, which really it does, but it sometimes do, it will show you the percentage and what sites it matches with. So you can actually go and check that out. You can change up that sentence that it highlights for you. So it's unique.
Wow. That does sound like a little bit of a gray area there. I think that would be part of the controversy of whether it's a good thing or not, because somebody else wrote that.
But I think, yeah, but at the same time, as like, if you're going to have a copywriter, they're going to go to a website, they're going to do research, they can read that same paragraph and they can write it their own way. The AI content writer is literally doing the same thing. It's reading it and then rewriting it. I remember back in like school, I think it was like my 8th grade teacher, when learning how to write essays and whatnot. And we didn't really have the internet. We only had encyclopedias. We had the library at our school and that's all we had. And she told us, in order to not plagiarize like your essays, just copy straight from the book, what you do, you read the paragraph, you close the book, and then you write about that paragraph. And the AI content writers are literally doing the same thing. Yes, it may seem like you're just going to copy, paste, rewrite really, really fast and automate for us. But that's the thing. It's the AI tool that helps to automate this copywriting process.
Now, I think you might have mentioned this or touched on it, but when you get this result out of the AI tool, do you have to edit it and adjust some things when you put it into the web page?
Most definitely. I'll have it even spell like 3 different outputs or multiple outputs, and I'll take sentences from paragraphs and kind of craft them together myself until I get something that I like. a lot of times it'll add a lot of fluff I don't like, and I'll just use like half of the paragraph because I'm like, okay, that reads a lot better. I don't need this upper half, just the end part, with the call to action. That sounds great. I may change it around a little bit if I don't like what some of the words it's using. I also may just like highlight it and Jasper allow me to explain it to a child so you can have it dumb it down to like a 5th grade level or 8th grade level, and it'll just simplify your sentences. So if you have like a long sentence output, it'll break it down to like 2 or 3 sentences that are really simple and easier to read.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I know when I've played with ChatGPT, and that's the only one I've really played with, it'll come up with some good information. Some of it you can read and go, that's not really saying much. So get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it can sometimes use words that would not be used in this particular site. They just don't fit with what the business is.
Right.
So I have seen that where you have to, like, it's good overall, but you have to like pick and choose and cut things out and adjust things.
It's interesting that you mentioned that with like the tone of voice for everything, because Jasper recently released a new tool. I have even yet to even try out myself, but you can create a brand of voice or a voice for your brand within Jasper. And you create a whole entire certain tone of voice and certain words that you would like it to use when it's right for your project.
Wow.
Because all your projects in Jasper, you can have it individualized for each individual client.
And then it saves that. So then if you come back and you need to do other things, it's got that in there already.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's really amazing.
Yeah. They just keep on thinking of more stuff, and they're just keep bringing more stuff to the table.
Something you mentioned about accuracy. My understanding is that ChatGPT is only as recent as 2021. I'm guessing that's probably a rolling, basically 2 years behind kind of thing.
Here there, their peers are still trying to catch up and analyze data as well.
It's got to be an immense amount of data.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Google has Bard, and I think that's up to date. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you can get a lot of like pretty recent web results because then Google's looking at their own data. And I've been starting to use Bard and testing that out.
So that's Google's AI?
Yes.
And is that available to the average person?
It is, and it's free.
We like free. Bard, B-A-R-D?
Yes. At google.com.
Okay. Yet another thing to add to their plethora of stuff when you go into your Google account and you click on the little checkerboard and there's 6,000 tools. Now we have more AI stuff.
Right.
Well, okay. So I know I'm jumping around here, but so Google has their own AI. This is a big question for people. Does Google downgrade you if it determines you're using AI for the content?
Well, that depends on how you use the AI. So Google's stance on content written by AI is that as long as it's helpful and written for a human, they have no problem with it. What Google is now okay with is content that's always generated in order to game the system. Its job to show the most helpful and relevant information to search queries. So writing a script that all creates 10,000 pages or posts will probably not generate a website that's very helpful. You'll most likely get a lot of fluff and filler text that will be boring and repetitive to read. If someone writes using AI by giving it research inputs, then taking and editing those outputs, or even just parts of the outputs, and then placing it on a website and a layout where it's helpful to humans, then Google will like the content. And this is actually through Google's John Mueller as well. He's like the face of Google search, as you know. And yeah, he says, so long as you're not just outputting content and just copy paste on a page and just all populating pages without even doing any research or anything. As long as you're not doing that and making the content helpful, you're okay. You'll be just fine.
Man, I have been to some of those websites And before I really knew about AI per se, I would go to some websites that would show up in my search results and I would read it and I would think, this isn't really saying anything. It's saying a lot of words that don't give me the information that I'm looking for.
Right.
So now that I know what's going on, I think that's what was happening. They were probably just feeding a bunch of stuff into an AI and then throwing it up there. And hey, it showed up on the first page because I don't go much beyond the first page of results. And it showed up on the first page, even though it wasn't super helpful. So hopefully they'll crack down on that, like you said.
Yeah, Google right now is all about helpful content, as like the helpful content update that they had. So that's their main thing, because it's their job to show the most relevant information to people. So it has to show helpful information too. And by being helpful, it has to have value. In order to have value, you have to have facts. So within your paragraphs and your sentences, you gotta have like facts that you're saying, or else it's just filler text saying how great that company is, or the service is, but it doesn't really describe the company or the service, So you gotta give it like more value by giving it more research, facts.
Yes. It has the feeling of taking you in a circle that never ends and you don't really get what you're looking for. It's very frustrating, actually.
Right.
So, okay. So you said you have memberships with Jasper, $59 a month. Is that right?
Yes.
And do you have other subscriptions you pay for that are worth it?
I pay for Midjourney, $30 a month to get unlimited renders from them. They also have a $10 a month plan. You can generate about 200 images with that a month. Writer is currently free. I actually got a deal through Entrepreneur Email. I paid $75 one time to get 75,000 words a month. But currently, Writer is free, and when you sign up, you get 10,000 words per month.
Okay. So what happens at 10,000 words? Then you just get shut down, or
pretty much until the next month or two pay off.
10,000 words is pretty good, though, especially if you have these other tools as well. So that's pretty awesome.
Oh, it's otherwise it's $9 a month for 100,000 words.
Oh, that's great. That's not bad at all. So you pay all these per month, and you're making that money back easily, correct?
Oh, easily, yeah. I write 2 posts and I make my money back.
Wow. Oh, cool. That's encouraging. Gosh, this is so helpful for me because the clientele that I work with, a lot of them don't have any content to start with. They're just getting started in their business and there's not a lot to work with. So coming up with content, I have worksheets to have them fill out and answer questions. And then I would take the responses and try and make headlines and paragraphs out of them. And that's not always easy because they're not giving full thoughts. They're just listing words. But now with the AI stuff, I did work with ChatGPT for the last couple websites that I had to do that with. And it was fabulous. I mean, I actually had content to work with and I had to adjust it, like we said, and pull out some words that weren't the right voice, but so much faster, lightning fast for me comparatively. So just a super helpful tool.
100%. I could write a whole month's worth of posts in the afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know what? People are probably listening to this and they're still questioning whether this is the right way we should go. But at the end of the day, if you're helping your clients get more visitors, get more money, and you're making money too, I mean, that to me is a win-win. So I don't see any problem with it so far.
right.
So we don't have to worry about detectors because there's a lot of AI detectors out there.
Right. I don't think they're accurate.
No, I've played with them. And as you know, I did some stuff detecting my own text and it determined I am a robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's my own text.
I think Google is more concerned about plagiarism than anything helpful content.
Yeah. Well, that's really good to know. I think that's super important. Okay, big question here. Do you see AI replacing web designers?
Not in the foreseeable future. No, I don't think AI will replace web designers or copywriters anytime soon. If anything, I think it will help web designers and copywriters create better and more well-written content. People will still want the human elements and expertise of a human web designer and copywriter. And these AI content image writers are really just tools to help create content. AI still needs proper inputs for a human, and human still needs to edit the outputs and add it to a layout to make it helpful to other humans.
So the human has to still go in and figure out what to do with it.
Yes, most definitely. And I read an article, I think it was yesterday, about IBM talking about all their AI tools on an enterprise level. And they're saying that AI won't necessarily replace like managers and other roles. Rather, it'll be those who adapt to using AI tools will advance and benefit, while those who don't use AI tools will be considered less for roles and not knowing how to use these tools.
Okay. So, I mean, that's a really good sign for the job market.
Yes,
So they're looking for people who are AI savvy,
definitely.
which is interesting. I was mentioning earlier to you that, we talked before the show, that I just went into my freelancing group on Facebook, and the hot topic that everyone was talking about was AI and how it's replaced some people's jobs. Somebody had commented that their company had let go of a few writers because of AI. So the people who are left are to be using AI for writing. So on the one hand, yay for the people who have the skill. On the other hand, for the regular writer who maybe doesn't know how to do that or doesn't want to do that, I guess they have to just adjust and reposition themselves maybe.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. The people who are not really using it, they're going to have to learn how to use it, regardless one day or not, in order to just benefit with their job, And also, if you're going to look for a job too, as well, having this tool set on your resume, I think is pretty huge. It would be beneficial to a company because it shows that you are resourceful and can be more efficient by using AI tools.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's a good angle. I guess it just depends how you want to look at it. Okay, so we're not losing our jobs yet as web designers for sure. Because the graphic, hey, if I want to create a dog and his paw's missing, that's an issue. So
Yeah, I don't think AI can create a whole website just yet to our liking. I think it might be pretty buggy. And I don't know about you. I don't fully trust AI writing code for me or especially for people who don't know code at all. Just leave it to someone who doesn't know how to code, have an AI write a website for them, have a shopping cart and stuff. And there's probably might be security issues going on that you don't know about. And without knowing actually how to code and seeing that this stuff is being written properly and securely, yeah, there's a lot of issues that can happen.
wow, that's a really good point. I never would have thought okay, security issues. There's probably, just like the web. I mean, when we first got the web, it was who thought about security so much? And now we're locking everything down. We're testing everything and putting all security on everything, 2-factor authentication. It's a pain in the butt, but you have to do it. So there's things we can't even foresee right now that are probably going to happen down the road.
Right. And you can tell AI to write you a contact form, right? But it won't make it secure unless you tell it, make me a secure contact form. And it's going to write more code that you're going to have to do more with. And then it's just make sure you understand that code. You're going to implement it. And so I don't think the average person is going to be able to write working code that's also going to be secure.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. I have only played with it to create some CSS, like animation stuff. I haven't really pursued that too much, but boy, it probably would be really handy to write media queries, which drive me crazy. I hate doing those. There's just always so many, but I mean, there's got to be some way to. Have you ever done that with media queries or anything?
No, I have
CSS?
not. No.
Yeah. I mean, I know I use Beaver Builder and there's, different screens it'll adjust for, but it doesn't adjust for all the sizes. So sometimes I have to throw in extra media queries anyway to say, this size, which is in between, do this, this, and this.
Oh, yeah, the media query string size. Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, CSS.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sometimes I have to do that with Elementor, but they actually recently past few months updated their stuff where you can have multiple breakpoints, custom breakpoints. I still have to every so often put my own media queries in there for sure.
Yeah, because they hit all the, devices, right? They hit the iPad, portrait, landscape, phone, that kind of stuff. But then if you're on a browser on a PC or something and you resize the window and it doesn't happen to fit one of those breakpoints, sometimes things get wonky. So anyway, all that to say, that would be super cool. So yet another thing, note to self, try using AI for media queries.
I've also used it for finding variables when doing some PHP code, like through WooCommerce. I found that ChatGPT can find variables for different plugins. So if you're trying to program something, you want to get like a shopping cart value or something, it'll be able to find that for you.
Wow. Well, that sounds really helpful and time saving, and save your eyes too. Scanning through code. So is there anything else that I didn't ask that you might want to share with us about AI and how to incorporate it? Maybe some suggestions that people just getting started with it?
If you're a web designer, I would recommend have it generate headings for you. Tell it to grab like the top 10 headings from certain websites or certain industries. And also ask it to write you bulleted points. Like write me 10 facts and bulleted lists about this certain topic. A lot of times that works very well. People end up bringing that. I also recommend asking it to shorten text too as well. A lot of times it makes it long. Shorter is easier to read. It's also easier to place on a web page and a web design layout too as well. Just having it tell it to rewrite certain contents or tell it to write for a child also is beneficial to just simplify text and simplify having people read that text.
So you have to be very specific with the commands you give it.
You definitely do.
Write in this voice to this audience on this topic.
Right. Yeah. And Jasper allows you to put different text boxes like the tone of voice, and you put a description. You can put your product or your service in another box. So, and they also have like workflows that you can work with.
So that kind of prompts you.
Yeah, it gives you like different prompts that you can work with.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, I'm definitely checking those out. I love the idea of just getting content together. Then how much easier is it to have something to start with and then, fix it rather than starting with a complete blank page?
Right. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Instead of starting with a blank page, you work with something, chip away at that, until you get like your sculpture, your statue,
Nice. Chip away everything that isn't your content. That's so cool. Matt, this has been really interesting and I've learned a lot. I might even have you back again if you would be
That would be wonderful.
able to do that, because there's so much, probably could go down any one of these topics in more depth.
I'm sure in the next month, it's just going to completely change. Even I'm waiting for Microsoft implementing it into their Office products, It's like Microsoft Word or Excel.
And they own ChatGPT now, right?
They do. Yeah. OpenAI. Mm-hmm.
OpenAI, right. Oh my gosh.
So it's possibly down the pipeline, or Windows 12, maybe.
I have also seen that they've already incorporated it into their Edge browser. I'm sorry, it's not I guess it's the browser, but it's using Bing. So if you use Bing as a search engine, which I never do, but maybe now I'll try, there's a chat element involved in the search in what you put in there. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like starting to think of searching in a different way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Wow. A lot to think about there. So where can we find you if we want to see what you're up to and maybe get in touch with you for something?
You can find me at my website, opticcell.com, OPTICCELL.com, or Instagram, MattGilliam82. Also have a photography website, mattgilliamphotography.com. Also showcase some of my AR there too as well.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt. This has been really interesting. I think people are going to love this. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Okay, so what do you think? Has this changed the way you look at AI? Head on over to webprosavvy.com and let me know your thoughts. And if you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe to the show. See you next time.